What's good, people, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be discussing which player in Golden State's current 2016-17 roster is their secret weapon. So if you followed the Warriors at least mildly this season, you should know of the team's young up-and-comers by now: Kevon Looney, James Michael McAdoo, and Patrick McCaw. Now, I'd have included Ian Clark in this group if he wasn't 26 years old already, but still, the dude's certainly having a breakout career year, so I won't overlook that. But his role's basically been established already, and McAdoo's almost at that point. But one guy who's still got a huge question mark hovering over him, and I'm not talking about the literal question mark in the thumbnail, is Damian Jones. First of all, shout out to my real Warriors fans who knew who this video was going to be about just from the silhouette. I tried to make it as ambiguous as possible and not show indication to the college ball in the photos, but it still should have been pretty easy to tell. Anyways, you real fans all surely remember Festus Ezeli from the past few seasons. Festus has been out this season, and I wish luck to bro. Hope it's not career ending, but either way, he's definitely got plenty of options outside of basketball, so he'll be alright. The reason I bring up Festus though is there are a lot of comparisons you can easily draw from him and Damian Jones. Both 7-foot centers, both drafted out of Vanderbilt, both at the number 30 slot, and both probably better than the rank at which they were selected. Apart from these pretty obvious similarities, there are some other ones you can find just by doing some digging, and some you could discover just by using a good eye test. Now, I already know a lot about this subject just because I actually wrote an article about it on a Warriors fan site this previous offseason. First off, coming into the league, both Ezeli and Damian had averaged nearly identical scoring numbers in college. Per 40 minutes, Festus was averaging 20.7 points, while Jones put up 19.6. Festus did this on 56.2% field goal percentage. Damian shot 56.6%. It is a little odd to me that Festus scored more, since Damian has a more refined offensive game with much better hands. But then again, it is only a 1-point differential, and Damian might have been getting less touches, or the game plan wasn't right for him, or whatever. There are 1,000 possibilities for this anomaly, but since I don't really watch college ball, I'm not exactly sure what it is. Now, however, is when we start to see the differences in their games. Damian Jones doesn't have the butterfingers Ezeli has. He won't drop as many lobs or passes in the paint, and for the same reason, he has potential to be a better rebounder in the future. On the other end of the ball, however, Ezeli is a superior paint defender, but Damian Jones is a quicker leaper and he's more athletic. That, combined with the great hands we talked about earlier, shows he has all the tools to work on his timing and decision making and become a very talented rim protector / shot blocker in the future. Damian still was a pretty talented defender in college though, averaging 2.5 blocks per 40 minutes, just not on the level of Ezeli, who had 2 more in the same amount of time. Festus also averaged roughly 3 more boards than Damian. They both had their strengths and weaknesses entering the league, which I think almost cancel each other out to come out with a fairly balanced end result. I see Jones having the same impact as a young Ezeli did next season for the Warriors, and relatively the same level of output or contribution to the team. There are 2 reasons I believe he didn't reach this level in his rookie season. 1, Festus was much more NBA ready coming right out of college, as evidenced by the slightly superior numbers shown earlier, and second, and this is a major one, Damian tore his pectoral muscle 12 days before the draft, which was one of the main factors for him falling to the Warriors at pick 30. But regardless, as a result, he missed all of training camp, which is an extra important learning experience, especially for rookies and new team members still learning the offensive and defensive schemes. Because of this, Damian's learning curve has slowed, and the Warriors were forced to send him to the D-League as a place to grow. This was probably best for him regardless, since he was most likely not going to get much run at all with the supremely talented Golden State roster. So Damian Jones went to the D-League, and in a very accepting manner, embracing the role he was given, and set out with a chip on his shoulder to make the best of the opportunity and prove himself. Fast forward to today. Last month, Damian was named the D-League Player of the Month, averaging 17.6 points on 65% shooting, along with 8 rebounds a game. His defense was also phenomenal, recording 5 blocks in one of those games. He also had double-doubles and 12 or more rebounds in 3 of those games. On the season with the Santa Cruz Warriors, Jones is putting up 11.3 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 2 blocks a game. His impressive play obviously reached to Steve Kerr and Warriors management, so he was called up to play heavier minutes in the Warriors' final game of the season, in which a win or loss was relatively meaningless, and Damian looked like a completely different player than he did in previous games he was called up from the D-League to play in throughout the season. Despite those previous ones being extremely short stints, you could tell his confidence was renewed. He was looking 100 times more comfortable and showed a couple of flashes of potential that all us Warriors fans have been waiting to see. I threw a couple of nice plays Damian was involved in that I wanted to highlight from that game against the Lakers throughout this video, since the video's too long for the play-by-play breakdown I originally wanted to do. But I will say this: earlier in the season he looked a lot more timid and uncomfortable out there on the floor, but virtually all of that seems to be gone, and it's great to see him progressing at such a high rate. Now clearly Damian's not going to play probably at all in the playoffs, barring any serious injuries, knock on wood, or garbage time in decided games to prevent injury to important guys, since for starters he's barely been with the team long enough to trust him in our sets in important playoff matchups, but he will still be there with the team every step of the way, watching, learning, practicing, and getting ready for hopefully a breakout sophomore season. He certainly could be an important building block going forward in the Warriors' future, with their biggest deficiency coming in athletic bigs who can catch lobs, run the floor, and block shots. The reason they brought in McGee, who was a high risk but turned out to be a greatly high reward the way he's played this season, creating an entirely different image for himself. But that's a story for another video that's coming soon, so stay tuned. That's all for now. Please be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, hit that subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications so you won't miss a news update or analysis video like this. Thanks for all the support, and I know all of Dub Nation can't wait for Game 1. It's time for redemption and another ring, baby. Playoff predictions coming soon if you're interested, so let me know if you want that video down below in the comments, and peace out.
Just want to call all the fans, Dub Nation, to be loud from the get-go. From Game 1 it starts, you know, it's doesn't start, you know, from to West Finals or Finals, but it starts Game 1 against Portland.
Damian was great, you know, he was active, you know, it was really good for him to see that kind of playing time at this level. He's been playing so well down in the D-League, and I loved his activity on the boards, had a couple block shots, I think, and did a really nice job.